Hey gems, welcome back to my show. We've got a lovely video today. I actually found it on one of my friends' stories, yes. And then I was trying to find it on YouTube, but I couldn't find it. But she did send me the podcast link. And I was like, oh, I really wish this was on YouTube. And then lo and behold, I came onto YouTube and it was there, you know? So we are going to be breaking it down. But before we do all of that good stuff, don't forget to hit that like button. Actually, I didn't even welcome you. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you stay. I hope you learn a thing or two before you decide to leave, if you do choose to. But if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. And engage in the comments as well. I love reading comments. If you are a fellow comments reader, please let me know down below. I read comments, yeah? Like my life depended on it. Because it helps me understand how other humans, you know, what goes on in their this one cerebral cortex. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into this video because I know it's going to be so joyful. Let go.
First purchase of a website or a domain.
I know. I don't know why you're feeling away.
Why? What do you mean? Look at you.
I should be nervous.
No, why?
Because if I ask stupid questions, if I step on your toes, never. I'm so nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna unravel today? Even though I know that everything we talk about is going to be needed for people to hear, especially for me, because you said I would never think you would be like that. I would not, and it's interesting to me. So you know why? Because what I know of you is...
First of all, I don't know this person. So she's what? Jasmin WatchJazzy Brown. I don't know her, but she's absolutely beautiful. Obviously, I was going to say you already know what I feel about Shan, but I haven't shared my videos on Shan just yet. So I absolutely love her content, and I'm so happy that she was able to have a chat with Kevin Samuels. Yes, I'm a Kevin Samuels fan. I refer to him as Bay. So he has left a very big void in my heart since his passing. But I absolutely love everything about Shan's channel. And this, oh gosh, let's just go in there. I just have to say these ladies are beautiful. So let's continue.
Is you've always been a hustler, you've always been a boss, you constantly reinvent yourself. So that's why I said my first and foremost comment to you was I've known about you for over a decade now.
Oh, thank you.
That to be said, my perception of you has been like career oriented, me first, not in a negative way, but like kind of like the person who's like, I'm no good to you if I'm not good to me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that, me first. I'm not even like that. I think that it seems like that because of how I hustle, but even when I hustle, it's not even for me. All right, so let's bring it back to the basics. What is the art of being submissive?
Tell us.
First step is get with somebody who wants what you have to offer. I think love and submission is a tailored fit. It's not a one size fits all. So I can only tell you what it means to me. Now for me, it's complete selflessness. I
love that. Okay, so this cancels all of that. Oh, but you can't submit to X, Y, and Z because they're not going to reciprocate. No, she's cancelled all that out. You go where it can be reciprocated, okay? Where the love is healthy. There's a healthy dynamic so that you can be selfless. And when it comes to being selfless, okay, we have to be full of something in order to be selfless, okay? And the reason why I say that is because, let me bring I'm going to be blinking a lot because it's late. I've got small eyes, I have no mascara on, and the lights are on me. So please bear with. And because my brain is firing up so much, I blink a lot. So I do apologize in advance. But what I was going to say is, when we are full of qualities like patience, kindness, meekness, gentleness, and all of that good stuff, that is when we can be selfless. Okay, because we're pouring those things out into somebody else. Okay, when we are selfish, we want all those things from other people because we lack it ourselves. Now, the reason why this lady is able to openly be selfless is because she already gives herself these things. You know, she's already patient and kind and all of those things to herself. Or she has taken the time to do the work where the mindset isn't, I'm not going to do this for you because you're not doing that for me. She has a well-rounded view of who she is and what she brings to the table, okay, or how best she can help somebody. So when she's being less of herself, i.e. not necessarily putting herself first, she is still full of great qualities that she can pour into somebody else. Hopefully, that came across well because my brain is firing up and it's pretty late, and I hope I was able to articulate that well. So let's continue. Should I do it like this? Yeah, this one's better, isn't it? Or do you want it like this? No. I think this one's better.
I am satisfied in serving. I'm a servant, and I watched my mother serve all my life, you know, and it was rain, sleet, or slow. I think we talked about this on the phone. My mother's love for my father wasn't conditional. It's not my responsibility, but it's your joy. It is my joy. You know, I love to see.
Oh, I love this. I really hope I'm not going to. Actually, I will be stopping. So hopefully you don't mind. It was modeled to her. Okay? It was modeled to her. She didn't think, ew, I ain't serving no man no plate. You know, it was modeled to her. And she mentioned her father. The man was there in the home. So the ladies who didn't have a father in the home, please filter through your emotions and understand that the point of view or the subject matter will be different because you did not have a father in the home. Okay? So quite frankly, maybe your mum was the hard type. You know, raise yourself to become this independent person who doesn't depend on a man. Whereas this woman seems to be someone who can depend on herself, but at the same time knows when to rest in her femininity and also serve and take care of, you know, step in her feminine soft side and nurture. And I absolutely love that. I don't know what I'm looking there for. But let's continue. I love it. When we model submission, true submission is so beautiful. I know my mum, so submissive, and she taught me simplicity. You know, I absolutely love this video so far. If you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit the like button.
Of how I hustle, but even when I hustle, it's not even for me.
All right, so let's bring it back to the basics. What is the art of being submissive?
First step is get with somebody who wants what you have to offer. I think love and submission is a tailored fit. It's not a one size fits all. So I can only tell you what it means to me. Now,
I do apologize, guys. I had to rewind it a bit because it kept lagging. So let's just listen to this part again.
Size fits all. So I can only tell you to offer. I think love and submission is a tailored fit. It's not a one size fits all. So I can only.
So from that point, I totally agree with her. Obviously, there are the things that are the basics. But when it comes to you and your husband or your partner's love life, intimacy, and where you submit or whatever, or the dynamic that works in your home, it can be a tailored fit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's when people plaster it all over social media and then everyone and their uncles and aunties wants to share their opinion. That's when you start to think, oh, this thing that I have behind closed doors, is there something wrong with it? If it's working for you, keep it up. That's what I would say. But let's keep going.
Let me tell you what it means to me. Now, for me, it's complete selflessness. I am satisfied in serving. I'm a servant. And I watched my mother serve all my life, and it was rain, sleet, or snow. I think we talked about this on the phone. My mother's love for my father wasn't conditional. It's not my responsibility, but
it's your joy.
It is my joy. I love to see him eating the meal that I cooked. I love seeing him sleep easy. Like every night, like clockwork, I scratch this man's back to sleep. And
I can imagine that she might have, the way she shows love's probably acts of service as well. It's as if the way when she is loving, when she is serving, she doesn't see it as a chore, because that is how she feels fulfilled. Okay, so think about what your love language is, how you like to show love. The healthy people are the ones I'm speaking to. However you like to feel loved or show love, actually, the way you like to show love, just think back and analyze. When you're doing those things or when you're in those elements, you don't feel tired. You don't feel like resentful, because you're pouring from a place where it's like a fountain inside of you. I know me, quality time, okay? Not necessarily acts of service. Mine is receiving acts of service, but I show love by quality time, words of affirmation, and physical touch. Those are my top 3 ways of showing you that I love you, okay? And when I'm doing those things, any of those 3 things, you think that, oh my God, I'm taking too much of Jemima's time, or I'm hugging her too much, or this, that, and other, and I'm being too clingy. But I love doing those things. So it's like, I have unlimited reservoir inside of me. So think, as she is saying these things, I know some people were like, ooh, you're being treated like a doormat, this, that, and other. No. You wouldn't understand unless you change the subject matter into the way you feel fulfilled when it comes to your love language. So let's say hers is acts of service. When you are pouring into somebody, let's say you show love by words of affirmation. You can compliment and, use your words to encourage and fulfill till, till it's nighttime, and you will still have something inside you to still share. That is the point she's trying to make. She is not saying that you need to do X, Y, and Z. She's just saying when she's in these elements, these are the moments where she feels most fulfilled. So what I hear is, okay, I can learn how some of these things and add it into my own relationship, because I think my man or my husband will also enjoy it. And hopefully that's what you're going to get out of this message as well. So it's all about listening critically, sifting through, taking the meat, taking in the meat and spitting out the bones, and seeing what best you can apply into your life. It's not just saying, nope, can't do any of that. Okay, that's how you critically think.
And I know when he's asleep because I can tell when his breathing changes. And some people might think that's psychotic, but that's like, I just know that's when I'm like, oh, I can stop now. But I find joy in being your rest. And it shouldn't be conditional.
A part of that lack of conditions too means that you do your duty joyfully regardless of what's being done for you.
Right. That's it. I do my duty joyfully regardless of what is happening to and for me. Now some days
I love this so much. I just love this so much, because it reminds me, like, when I was in my marriage, I was like, yeah, okay, I have to put some disclaimers here. Yes, it was not reciprocated. Yes, I did not pick somebody who could or had the capacity to reciprocate. I didn't know at that time. Okay, so all I knew is I'm going to be doing my duties and my responsibilities joyfully, because I genuinely enjoy those things, and I'm an accommodating type. So even when it wasn't reciprocated, I didn't quite understand that the person lacked the capacity. I just thought I needed to bend more. Obviously, this is pre-therapy and pre-understanding that I was codependent and I had people-pleasing issues, and I also lacked boundaries and standards. So now, after the fact, I've been able to fine-tune all these things because the qualities were there. The qualities were still great. It's fine, or should I say it's amazing to be relishing in your duties and responsibilities and finding joy and fulfillment in building a home and building a life with your husband. I think that's amazing, and it's very much lacking in our society today. So I absolutely love the fact that I had it. I just needed to fine-tune those qualities so that it wasn't taken advantage of. And that meant I needed to pick someone who was better, okay? Once you pick someone who can reciprocate, once you pick somebody who can be a safe place, because now you've become a safe place, then Bob's your uncle, you know? But let's keep going.
I might be more cheerful than others because I have my own stuff going on. You know, and there's times where it's like, I don't even want to say what's going on with me because, again, I know how to deal with me and my pain. You know, I'll cry in the shower and keep it moving, you know. But in the art of submission for me, because I can't speak for everybody, is being joyful about it. You know, that want of, and I think not even just a want, the power of knowing that you have the power to make someone's day better. And that's a choice.
And easier.
Right.
Yes. Better and easier. That's a choice that you have to make. I always make the choice to do it. I always make the choice to do it. I like to give. I like to allow my person to lead. They know, especially like when it translates in the bedroom, I like to feel dominated. You know, riding dick ain't always my favorite position because I like to be taken advantage. Oh my gosh. No, I don't like to be taken advantage of. I like to feel.
That's okay. I like to be degraded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are languages that I like and I accept.
I do. But if I'm comfortable and if I trust you. So just know what that means. Know that dance with your partner. I think of relationships and submission and being submissive is like, it's like an 8 count. Know that dance. You better know that 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, dishes clean. 2, laundry. 3, if you have a long day and you fight in the world, you will never come back and fight me. You will never come back and 2, laundry. 3, if you have a long day and you fight in the world, you will never come back and fight me. You will never come back and walk into a space that is not welcoming you.
I love that. I love that. Ugh. I love that. This goes to show how much work she's done on herself, you know, her mindset, being able to regulate her emotions so that she can meet her partner authentically. I absolutely love that. And having done the work and knowing how much work goes into doing that, even pre-therapy and in my marriage that it wasn't reciprocated, how I dealt with things, there is so much work to be done with these modern women. I am speaking to the modern woman out there who isn't your typical modern woman, who still has traditional values and wants a traditional man and wants a traditional home, okay? That's the woman I'm speaking to. Learning to create a safe place or learning to be a safe place starts from being that safe place for yourself, okay? Being able to really self-regulate, being able to really self-soothe, those two big things. I'm going to actually have a therapist here on my channel as a guest talking about self-regulation, co-regulation, so how you can bring your partner into the mix to help you regulate your nervous system when you're having a meltdown. But having done the work and knowing how much work and effort and discipline it takes to really learn how to self-regulate and self-soothe your big emotions so that you can meet your partner authentically, I applaud this woman, and I know you can do it too. It does take work, and in the beginning it's really tough, but after a while you get used to it and your brain starts to understand that, the healing has started and this is how this person wants to move things forward. This is how you want it. This is how things are going to be done now. Guys, I do apologize. It's so late and my brain is firing up so much, but at the same time, when it gets late like this, I talk so much gibberish. And when it's about topics like this, I can go off on a tangent and get quite flirty. So let's keep going.
And walk into a space that is not welcoming you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Do you think that this is controversial in some capacity?
Absolutely. To some, it could be enabling. You know, and someone told me one time, they're like, you're enabling him. And I told him how that made me feel. And he was like, of course they're going to say that. They don't have nobody doing that for them.
How did it make you feel?
It made me feel like maybe I am. But at the same time,
before she goes into that, so I remember watching or listening to a podcast by Dr. Caroline Leaf. It was beautiful, about empowering people over or versus enabling them. Okay, this was life-changing for me because, again, stepping outside or away, or should I say, stepping outside of myself. So analyzing the person I was in my marriage. Yes, I'm going to be referring to my marriage a lot because I was submissive. Okay, but there's a very fine line between empowering somebody and enabling them. And the difference lies in listening. When you're a codependent people pleaser, you constantly want to do the work for the other person because you want to bridge that gap between feeling uncomfortable and them running away. You always want to close the gap. You always want to close the gap. Hold on, my battery. This is it. So the line between enabling somebody and empowering them. And when you empower someone, you allow them to do the work, okay? It doesn't mean you're a bad person. You actually instill your boundaries because now you are teaching them or helping them to grow the muscles where they can also meet you rather than you always running to meet them. That is empowering them. Enabling is when you know they don't have the capacity, or you know they're not willing to give in any effort or reciprocity, but you want to do the work for them in hopes that it encourages them to do the work, okay? That is what happens when you are enabling. So I love the fact that she started off by saying that you pick someone who can reciprocate or wants the same things as you, or wants what you are selling, okay? So that it can be a healthy dynamic. Now, if you pick someone who already didn't have the capacity to reciprocate, now you will be enabling because chances are you don't like the uncomfortableness of them pulling away. You don't like the uncomfortableness of them dismissing you, making you feel isolated, making you feel like you're lonely, even though you're in a relationship. These are all things that I felt in my marriage, you know. So you always want to close the gap. You always want to bend backwards. You always want to accommodate. You always want to people please, you know, because any type of anything that brings discomfort or uneasiness makes you feel as though I need to do something about this. Again, if you're someone who was always a fixer, a helper, boy, I took helpmate to a whole different level, even when it wasn't being reciprocated. That's when there's a very fine line between being that doormat and empowering someone, okay? Many people will see when you are empowering them, there will be that kind of like in the beginning because they're thinking, why are you allowing me to grow up? Essentially, there will be that tantrum, you know. But if you continue to stick to your guns in terms of your boundaries, instilling them in a gentle way and watching and allowing them to grow, you know, and grow in that capacity that you know they can do, okay? This is somebody who can reciprocate love. This is what I'm not talking about someone you're about to change. No. The two things that you need to look for is someone who is willing and someone who is teachable. Those two qualities, they will always learn how to have capacity to also reciprocate love to you. Okay? But yeah, I've waffled on for so long, but let's keep going.
Time. That's my love. So if you don't understand it, you know, it's not, I'm not loving on you for you to get it. That's how I love. And whoever I love is going to get that benefit.
Yes.
There was a time where, you know, women needed men for everything. We couldn't even open up a bank account, you know? And now it's like women are really in their bag where they're like, I have my own business. I'm doing this. I don't need a man for nothing. Like, basically, like, can I be frank? Like, I don't need a nigga for shit. I don't, you know, and I can say those words, but I want one.
So my brain wants to understand the exchange here. Because, and this could be, it's not, no, you're doing great. But because I told you, I'm going to ask a bunch of stupid questions. Yeah. Because this dynamic, I think, like, my relationship with my partner is very egalitarian. Like, we're equals. Like, I don't ever feel like I'm giving for the sake of giving, and I'm not receiving for the sake of receiving. I'm receiving being like, well, I deserve this, and I'm giving being like, you deserve this. So there's that exchange happening.
So you speak on, you're like, you tell him the things that you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the things that you feel like you deserve, you'll say that?
100%.
Yeah.
How will you say that?
That's me.
I need you to step up in these areas. I need to not worry about this. I need to be able to take my brain off this thing. I need more affection. I need more love. If we're going to be sexual, here's the things that I need to, like, feel more sexual. And in return, I invite that. Like, so we have a lot of conversations.
How does he receive it well?
I think everybody has a problem with being told that they're not doing enough, because we always go to, like, well, I'm already doing X, Y, and Z. Right. So I think that there can be, I wouldn't say that he's always arms wide open, but he always adjusts. But so I guess when I'm listening to your relationship style, I'm like,
not getting that.
If we kind of broke it down into, like, to-dos specifically, like, what does a submissive woman do for her man?
Right.
Everything.
What does that mean?
You know, like packing his bag, unpacking his bag, just making sure all the things that he wants. And like, I pretty much read his mind. So it's like, if I know you and I study you, like, I know how you are in the morning. I know how you are about midday. I know when you're in this mood, what you need. Like,
just before she goes into that, I just wanted to touch base just slightly. The way the way Jasmin reacted, I would say, to how Shan described her relationship makes me think, that when she mentioned about crying and self-soothing in the shower, that comment, although she didn't go into too much depth, it kind of paints a picture where she self-regulates, self-soothes, but doesn't know how to co-regulate in the sense that, is the man, how should I say this? I hope she knows how to make her needs known to her partner, just so that she's not having to do everything by herself because she can. Because I was there before in my marriage where it was like, oh, I don't need you to help me self-regulate because I know how to self-regulate and I know how to self-soothe. But I'm here to help you. You know, I'm here to pour into you because that's my love language. You know, there's a very dangerous line there, because although we're pouring, when it's a relationship, we also need to learn how to receive. My problem, I didn't know at that time, was receiving help. Even asking for help was a problem. So I don't know. This is just something to think about. I only pull this up because of the way she reacted to what Shan was saying. Now, after the fact, you know, I'm more like how Shan has described, as in, if I need something, if I require something, if I'm processing some of my emotions and the reasons why I'm irritated by something, I bring it up in a gentle way and say, hey, I require X, Y, and Z. Do you have the capacity to do those things for me? And then based off of what my partner will say, i.e. I can or I can't, then I further process and see if I can accept, live, accommodate that new reality, or if I further have to tweak certain things to see if they can meet me there instead, you know? So there is that you go, I go, two-way street dynamic, whereas in the beginning, it was more like, oh, you've gone? Okay, I'll accommodate. Oh, you've moved the goalpost? Okay, I'll accommodate. No, don't do that anymore. But we still submit. But with boundaries. Boundaries in the sense, remember, boundaries are not a bad word. Boundaries are not bad. Boundaries are amazing because that brings out the best in all of us. We're trying to get rid of resentment and bitterness. And when you have healthy boundaries and you articulate them in a beautiful way, that's when boundaries are amazing. They're not to keep people out, it's to bring people in. That's what I believe boundaries are. So yeah, let's continue.
Or you can ever ask me for something, I'm already on it. I mean, he's spoiled. And you know, when I talk to my girlfriends about it, I was like, oh, how are you guys doing? And I'm just like, girl, he's rotten. I'm like, he's spoiled rotten. Like, he's rotten. But I love that. Like, I want him to be there. I think my biggest flex is how I treat my man. You know what I mean? And my biggest flex should be how I treat myself, which is, this is kind of fucked up. It's kind of messed up.
What are you getting from all that you're giving? What are you asking for in return?
Let me get that.
You know what's interesting? And you saw my reaction when I was like, you say that? You asked for that? You know what I mean? I think that I have gotten better at saying the things that I need. But if I don't get it the first time, I don't like to say it again.
So would you do what you're doing for a broke dude?
Oh my God. See? I love that she's that self-aware, that she's realized she's caught herself. Oh, love that. So before I comment, I want to hear what she's going to say if she's going to do this for a broke person, because that's where we're going to know if this is genuinely, if this is genuinely a character and not necessarily a behavior. Behavior is reliant on the person who's receiving it. Character is the person that you are, okay?
What do you call broke?
Okay, requires your financial support as well.
Oh. No. I mean, I think to be broke, you can be
still a great lover, still very romantic, still very emotionally supportive. I'm just like asking about,
I wouldn't even know that.
What does that mean?
I wouldn't even know that he's all those things.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of people who are financially stable who are broke-minded, and I can't get down with that either.
So let me just clarify the question.
Yes,
what are the requirements from a man to bring to Jazzy in order to get this level of love from you?
Oh, I love Shan. Gosh. I love Shan Boody. These are the type of conversations I love to have, because she's just able to like, I see you going here, but my question was here. You know, I love the way she's asked that question, because that's what I want to know. Because this will let us know if it's truly unconditional love or it's conditional love, okay? Where you're pouring, but there's that motive behind it where it's like, well, my other needs, let's say financial, my safety, blah, 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 will all be met. Gosh, I'm trying so much breeze. oh my God, my brain's firing up. Let's keep going because I want to land.
I think it's how you make me feel. I have to feel safe with you emotionally. You have to excite me. I need edge. So all this cute, soft shit that I need him to be emotionally this, I do need that. But I also need some edge. And I also need a man that is like, you know, like I am a submissive. So like, in a way, my love language in sex is like, I like for you to tell me what to do. Okay. So sometimes it's like, Jazz, sit your ass down somewhere. It's like, oh shit. What'd I do? Let me sit down, you know? But it's like someone who is a very, you know, you can be emotional and be soft and things like that. But I still need you to have a little sprinkle or that edge.
Do you need an alpha male?
Yes, only. Only.
There's that word.
And you know, and I think men are confused on if they are or not. And if you are confused, you're not one.
What is an alpha male?
I think in my experience of an alpha male, it is somebody who is respected, you know, walks in the room and everybody just kind of like feels their presence.
Some people can interpret submissiveness as like anything goes, like I'll put up with anything.
No way. I mean, like,
before she comes in there, it's like what Kevin said. I've got a whole live stream coming up on submission. Kevin Samuels put it so beautifully. He said submission is willful cooperation. And there's a very big difference between submissive and being being obedient. Although it all falls down the definition of submissiveness, I believe, obedience. When it comes to submission, you have the power to do otherwise, but you choose to willingly cooperate in those moments. However, when it comes to obedience, let's say to God, you yourself, you don't have power. He can't consume you with his fire. So you must obey. You have to worship him in spirit and in truth, else you'll be consumed like fire. I'm just joking. But what I am saying is when it comes to obedience, you never had the power to begin with. So you obey in reverence to that person. Whereas when it comes to submissive or being submissive to your husband in this context, I believe it's saying, hey, I could choose to do X, Y, and Z, but because I honor and respect you, I'm looking here again. Because I honor and respect you, I am choosing to willingly cooperate in these circumstances rather than, okay, being passive. It's not a passive role at all. And it's not a mousily, is it mousily? It's not like a really like, I'm going to trample over you like, yes, sir, yes, sir. That's not what submission is. Oh, there's so much power in saying, hey, babe, oh, this is where you want us to go? I trust you. Yeah, let's do that. You know, rather than, if you want that, it's okay. Okay. You know, so think about that. Let's ponder over that as we are continuing to listen.
I think anything goes for sure if you're comfortable with the person. Because I'm doing shit I never did before. I'm just like, I would have never done this. But you know what? I'm comfortable with this person and I feel safe.
Do you have an example?
Anal.
Oh.
Like, give an example? Yeah, that.
Do you do it for you or do you do it for them?
I do it for him because for me, I'm not at a place where I like it yet. We had one successful time where I was like, okay, you know, my butt clean.
Knowing what your values are, knowing what your role in the relationship is, being joyful about it. That's also a big part of it too. Yeah. But I would assume that there is a line where it can get dangerous and chaotic.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, like as a submissive person, what do you have to be mindful of to ensure you're not being taken advantage of?
Thank you.
Lovers and friends.
It's ended. Okay, so in that case, I will answer that. I'll add a couple of gems here on how you can answer that because I embodied those things. So yeah, let's listen to the question again.
There is a line where it can get dangerous and chaotic.
We had one successful time where I was like, okay, you know, my butt clean.
Knowing what your values are, knowing what your role in the relationship is, being joyful about it. That's also a big part of it too. Yeah. But I would assume that there is a line where it can get dangerous and chaotic.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, like as a submissive person, what do you have to be mindful of to ensure you're not being taken advantage of?
So what do we need to be mindful of so we are not taken advantage of? What we need to be mindful of is the first thing that she mentioned. The person that we are combining with, do they have the capacity? And if they don't have the capacity, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. It just means they don't have the capacity. So you need to go to someone who demonstrates these two qualities, being teachable and having the willingness to learn, okay? Because they go hand in hand. And if they're accommodating, it's even better. So they can be masculine and all of that, but if they have all these qualities as well, it's a beautiful recipe, okay? So you need to understand that they have those things and they want to reciprocate, or else what you will be doing is enabling, because that's where I was, okay? I picked someone who wasn't good for me, someone who wasn't ready for marriage, somebody who thought he was ready for marriage, let me just say that, but hadn't grasped the concept of what being a husband was and being a father as well. They hadn't grasped that concept, wasn't willing to learn, wasn't teachable, and as a result, it was like, we're stagnant. You can be submissive to that person, but what will happen is you will consistently submit and it will not be reciprocated, okay? And I think the danger there was, coupled up with being a codependent and people pleasing, i.e. stepping away from empowering people and enabling them, you are enabling those toxic behaviors. What happens is, even though you are submitting, well, quote unquote submitting, what you are actually doing, you are being a doormat, because submission again is willful cooperation. But sometimes when you are bending over backwards, it's not necessarily your will. You have betrayed yourself in those moments. When you are submitting, you got to take all of you with you, okay? You need to respect yourself, and in respecting yourself takes on what's it called? Being able to articulate and gently instill your boundaries, So let me go back to the question so that I can add some more points.
Yeah. But I would assume that there is a line where it can get dangerous and chaotic.
Yeah. So when you think about that, like as a submissive person, what do you have to be mindful of to ensure you're not being taken advantage of?
Yeah. So the other thing as well is also being able to open your mouth and make requests. Being curious about things. I think those two things are very big. This lady over here, Jasmine, she says she's starting to learn, how to ask for things or make requests. It's so huge. If you are a submissive person, as much as you're able to pour into others, you have to understand that you also need to be poured into, maybe not in the same capacity, but regardless, there needs to be some kind of reciprocity, okay? And gosh, it's so late. I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Like, okay,
being able to ask for what you want. That's it. Being able to ask for what you want. Sometimes growing up, when we've never learned how to be comfortable in our wants and our needs, although she did grow up in, a home where she saw the mum being submissive, maybe at the same time she might have been too young to really understand what that really entailed. So it's about learning how to just open our mouths and say, hey babe, X, Y, and Z is actually what I need right now from you, and I would really love for you to be able to do X, Y, and Z for me. Do you have the capacity to do that? That's just gently how you can lay it before your partner, and then they can meet you and say, yes, I do have the capacity, or I don't have the capacity. Can you do this instead? Or can I do this instead for you? And, have that kind of dialogue. So getting someone who can reciprocate and does have the capacity, the willingness, and the love to do those things for you, because you will as well. I think those are those are things to look out for, so that when you're submitting, you aren't necessarily being taken advantage of, if that makes sense, okay? Boy, it's so late and my brain is firing, but at the same time, I'm going to be chatting so much rubbish. Can you even see my eyes? They're so tiny. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Gosh, what am I saying? Like the video if you enjoyed it. I know it was all over the place, but please bear with as I'm getting back into doing content. My brain will fire up properly and I'll be a little bit more prepared, okay? Because all of this is just right from here. That's why the brain is firing up so much. It's ever so late. Love you guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit the like button and also come and subscribe to the channel. Come join me here. Let me know in the comments which part you love the most. And have you been submissive before? Do you enjoy being submissive? If you don't like being submissive, please let me know in the comment section. We're all learning here, so that I have some gems for the live stream that I'll be doing later on submission. So yeah, until next time, take care and God bless. Bye-bye.